Well, good morning. It is great to have you here this morning. Welcome to our Living and Learning series this year. I'm Coach Dave Beam, and the topic that I have for this morning is probably the most challenging topic that I offer. And so I'm really going to encourage you all to follow the rules of the game this morning in your listening and participation if you want to get the most out of this. Always remember this rule in my sessions. You're here for 30 minutes. I would love for you to be fully present, fully absorbing, fully considering, fully open-minded, fully listening. And at the end of the 30 minutes, you can throw it on the trash if you don't like it and don't agree with it. I'm not the end-all authority and know-it-all person here. But I am going to propose something to you that's a little bit counterintuitive and not typical, that is transformational. We call this 12 transforming 30-minute online events. So in the next 30 minutes, your life can really change. You can really be transformed. Some of it may be validation of what you're already thinking and doing. Some of it may be brand new to you. So I want to thank the Portsmouth, Ohio, Maysville, Kentucky, Grayson, Kentucky, Adams County Chambers of Commerce, and the Ashland Alliance for promoting these events and for partnering with me. And we're going to talk again about the beautiful choice to respect everyone. Just hang in there. Hang in there for your thoughts on that. It's just going to be a very interesting morning. Here is the schedule of the other upcoming events. You can sign up on the website for these. They're all free and sponsored by our sponsors. So I encourage you to do that. We've talked about in January living in the present. We've talked about last month living in integrity, and today we're going to talk about living in this attitude of respect. So here are the rules of the game. I strongly, strongly encourage you to really get present here and take these to heart if you want to get the most out of this. The first one is you're going to agree to own it. This is about you. This is about your choices. This is about who you want to be, who you want to become, what you want to maintain and hold true and for yourself. So that's what this is about today. I want you to keep your head in that space. This is not about other people. This is not about blaming or making excuses or this is you coming in. You're giving a half hour of your life to this to step up and really transform into a better person, a more effective person, a person that gets better results. So that's owning it. The participation 100% is just really the third rule. It's dropping the I know and just being curious and think about possibility. If I shifted my mindset this direction, or if I chose to walk this path that Dave is putting out here in front of me, how might things change? It's just a consideration. There's no pressure this morning. I'm not going to interview you all and find out if you're going to do this or not. This is a conversation we're having. I just want to encourage you to think this morning about how you might approach people in life differently. And if we do all that, we'll have some fun because it's boring when you don't change. It's boring when you're not challenged. In my world, I love a good challenge. I love something to stimulate my thinking and something to work on. So if you're ready, here we go. Embracing unconditional respect. Just want you to sit with the three words here for a second. This is about opening your arms, opening your heart, and saying, I'm going to embrace something again that I already embrace, or this might be the first time I've ever considered this approach to how I work with others. Embracing unconditional respect. I think I want to start with a story. I presented this topic and this concept many times, and I was one time in a great big room of people. And a big room for me is about 40 or 50 people, and there was a gentleman there. There was a gentleman there that stood up, and he said, "I really this is a little hard for me, but I just to disagree with you." And what he was disagreeing with, as I said, I believe it is a noble and a good thing to respect other people unconditionally. In other words, that respect in my world is not earned, it's something that you freely give people. And he just was having a lot of trouble with that, like a lot of people do. And he was bold enough to voice his complaint and his concern in front of the group. So I said, okay, I'm going to call the guy George. I said, George, I appreciate your honesty. I want to respect you. And I know you're really having a trouble or you're really kicking back on this. And I said, so give me an example of the way a person would be that you would choose not to respect them. In other words, what does a person, if they act a certain way, you're saying, I just can't respect that person, Dave. I think they have to earn my respect. They will lose my respect if they don't do fill in the blank. And he said, a liar. He said, I can respect a lot of different people and put up with a lot of different things from people, but when they lie to me, it's over. I cannot respect somebody who is dishonest to me and lies to me. And I said, well, so George, I just want to be clear on your rule of the game. Your rule of the game is I'll give respect until somebody's dishonest with me, then I lose my respect and I will not respect the liar. I said, okay, I got your rule. So I've got a question for you, George. Have you ever lied to anybody? And it was about that silent. And he said, well, sure. But I said, well, how many lies does it take to be a liar, George? Silence. Oh, I get your point, Dave. I said, well, I'm not really trying to make a point so much. I just want you to think that you're saying, Dave, if somebody violates this rule of lying, then I no longer am going to give them my respect. So, based on that rule, George, I suppose I shouldn't give you my respect if I followed your rule. Well, he got the point, and I think that story will kick off what we're going to say here and start your wheels turning. I want you to just stay open minded and just say, not having I know, and consider the fact that you can give people unconditional respect. It's a possibility and it's an amazing experience. I think we need to define what we mean by respect if we're going to pursue this thought process. And if you just look up in the dictionary, Webster's dictionary, to respect is to think highly of or to show concern for. So in the Webster world, if I think highly of you or I show concern for you, I respect you. And I think that definition will help us stay pretty grounded here on what we're saying. So think about those words for a minute and let me maybe expand that a little bit to talk about what I mean by respect today. Respect is how I think, treat, and feel about somebody else, about another person. For example, if I choose to respect you, that means this in my world. I'm going to choose to accept you. I'm going to listen to you and seek through that listening, not to get a point across, but to understand you. In that conversation, which is really more of me asking a question and listening, I'm considering how you're feeling and I'm caring about ultimately your well being. Now, that's a high bar. But if you get it, my world of if I am saying I choose to respect you, I am going to accept you, listen to you, seek to understand you, consider how you feel, and care about your well-being. It is a choice that leads to a change of sentiment. In other words, my feelings when I begin this process may not be respectful. And I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just saying it's real and it's human that people sometimes treat us and act in a way that we don't feel so well towards them as people. And that feeling, I can either choose to go with the feeling or I can choose to go with my choice on the kind of person I want to be, regardless of how they're being. And that's what we're talking about, that unconditional aspect. Here's what I would like you to see. If you choose to adopt this value of unconditional respect, it is a commitment. It's a commitment to think and to act and to hold kindness and consideration toward any human being. Let me say that again. If you choose to adopt this value as one of your core values, that I'm going to unconditionally respect people, it is a commitment to a thinking, to action, and to a holding of kindness and consideration towards a person. And here's how they qualify for that in your world. If you do this, they have to be a human being, and that's all they have to be. It is freely expressed without any regard to their actions and their response. In other words, my respect of them is not conditional on how they're being or acting. In this world of unconditional respect, respect is not earned. It's freely given by the person who gives it. Now, I'm not saying you're there or that you agree with this completely or you think this is a great idea. I want you just to be open-minded and find it interesting and not have that I know, but just say, well, that's a different way of thinking. That's a different way of approaching. That's a hard way for a person to be. I don't know if I could do that. Those are the thoughts going through your head. Maybe you're thinking of that person that just really gets under your skin or that person that just kind of nauseates you in the way they act and their attitude. And you say, I could never respect that person. Well, I want you to set that feeling and that thought aside for this 30 minutes and say, wouldn't it be interesting if I chose to respect them, to think and act and hold kindness and consideration toward them, not because they deserve it, not because they're earning it, because I choose to give it, because that's the kind of person I choose to be in the situation. That's where I want you to be in your head and your thinking. I want you to understand this. I'm going to talk, just give you a few minutes of silence to think and process, because this is a lot to take in. Okay. So Dave, I'm open to this. It's so very uncomfortable. So help me. Help me get there or help me see at least how I could get there. Well, here's a key. A key to embracing this value as your core value of respecting others without condition is thinking specifically distinguishing in your mind between the person and their behavior or their performance. I'm going to propose to you that a person is not their performance. None of us perform perfectly. None of us are the ideal person 24/7. No one is perfect. No one has it all together. We all make mistakes. We all slip. We all fall. We all fall short of what we want to live up to. And therefore, we are all the same in that regard. And that is a key to living this way is first of all considering the fact that nobody is perfect, and that includes me. It's just like my opening story of George. He's a liar too. We've all lied. If we're honest, we've all not told the full truth. We've all hedged things. We've all backed off. So, what position do we have to judge the liar? I'm not saying lying is good or that lying's not immoral. In my world, it is. But what right do I have to disrespect an individual because they have done that? Because I've done it too. That's what we're saying. Second, respect and trust are two different things. I can respect you in this way, but not fully trust you. Some people would say a lack of trust is a lack of respect. I disagree. I may not trust what you're going to do based on your track record. I may not trust what you're going to do because I don't know how competent you are, how good you are at something, or if you truly do follow through on what you say you're going to do. The fact that I don't fully trust you doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting you or that I don't respect you. I also need to understand that I don't need to agree with you to respect you. I can hold my own views, my own values, my own view of the world, and it may differ from yours. And just because I clearly state that I don't see it the way you see it doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting you. And there may be behavior that you practice that I don't respect. You may be mean towards children. I don't respect that behavior. You may be cruel to animals. I don't respect that behavior. That doesn't mean that I have to disrespect you as a person. And this is where the tension is, and this is where the challenge is, and this is where people's emotions get involved. And I'm asking you to step back, just find this interesting, and be curious. When I see somebody that I don't validate their behavior, I don't agree with the way they're treating other people or the way they're doing something, can I still respect them fully and give them my respect, even though I don't respect what they're doing? I want you to try to make that differentiation. We're not just playing with words, we're really talking to ourselves on how to navigate to this place. Respecting someone is a choice to serve, not necessarily to please them. I'm not saying in this that if you respect somebody to this degree that they'll always respond well. It's not that we're after just them liking us or going along with us. This is a choice to be a certain kind of person myself. Respecting someone is a choice to accept them, listen to them, seek to understand them, consider and care about them, and do what's best for them. How they respond to that is their business. Going to give you a moment again just to look at that slide and think about the words that I've spoken and refresh your heart and your mind with that. This is a lot to take in. That's why I'm offering the slide to you. If you email me so you can really slow down and spend some time thinking about this. Got some other articles to help you understand that as well. So this is my next question as your coach this morning. What might happen if you choose respect, especially in a situation where it's not easy? What might happen? Let's consider how this might transform you, how it might transform the other person or facilitate that, how it could certainly change the situation. Well, I'm going to consider that question with another question. How do most people respond when they are respected? Now, there are exceptions to this, but I find that people typically give back what they're given. It's the law of reciprocity. What you sow is what you reap. How do you respond when somebody offers you a consideration or a kindness, especially When you've not been a happy camper, you've not been the most considerate and kind person, but instead of that person responding back in like kind to you, maybe you've disrespected them or their time or something about their family or their situation. And they don't come back at you with, I put out disrespect, I get disrespect back. Surprise, this person breaks that pattern and they give you back consideration and kindness, even though you really don't quote unquote deserve it. But they choose to be a respectful, kind person towards you because that's who they choose to be in every situation. How do you respond when somebody treats you unexpectedly kind and considerate? Some people gets them angry because it kind of exposes their hypocrisy. Some people it humbles them and it wakes them up. This is what leadership is, folks. It's being a certain kind of person with people that causes an effect. So, three questions to pull this all together this morning, just in this brief 30 minutes that we have. Three more questions for you to consider. First of all, what are the possibilities that might appear if you choose to unconditionally respect someone? I want you to take a person in your life right now and in your work, in your family. It doesn't matter. It's a people thing. Somebody that it's difficult for you to respect them, or it's been difficult for you to respect them. And what if you changed your approach? What if you changed your choices? What if you changed your mindset? What if you really searched your heart and said, I really want to be different. I want to think different. I want to behave differently towards this person. Not because they deserve it, not because I agree with them, not because I respect their behavior, but I want to respect human beings, even difficult human beings. What possibilities might appear if you made that shift? We can't change other people, but we can change ourselves. Second, why would you ever choose not to respect or to disrespect anybody? Why would you ever want to disrespect or not respect another person? The question I'm asking you this morning is, who do you want to be all the time? Is there ever a time you want to be a disrespectful person towards another human being? Is there ever a time that you think that's the right way to be? That that is the honorable way to be? That that's the good way to be? I'm asking some hard questions. And I want you to think about the implications of your choices. And finally, Dave, I'd love to get started in this. I'd love to experiment with this. I'd love to move this direction. What are the practical things you can do to demonstrate respect to other people? Now, I'm kind of focused on the difficult person, but I'm just talking about the regular person in our life every day that we just get apathetic and we get self-centered and we don't care about them. And I'm talking about stepping it back up to this active, intentional, committed way of thinking about other people and treating other people and even feeling about other people. Now, the feelings tend to follow the action and the thinking. It's not always easy to change how you feel. You sometimes have to just step out and act differently and think differently, and then your feelings will get in line with that. You know, children and toddlers follow their feelings, and immature people just are persuaded by how they feel every day. And I'm saying the folks that come to these events are saying, I want to be better than that. I want to step up and truly choose my responses and choose who I want to be and practice that and discipline myself and become better. This is about growth. Coaches help people get better. This is not about you being a bad person or needing therapy. This is about somebody who says, I want to live life in a better way. I want to step up to a better performance. I want to be a better person. I'm saying this lesson of embracing unconditional respect, it's a hard one. It's a tough one. It cuts to our core and to our soul, but I think it is one of the most transformational lessons that I offer in the last 22 years. And when teams start to embrace this culture, a team of people working together step up to this standard, you can't stop them. I mean, they can't be defeated. And the fact is, it's a work in progress. We're never going to do this perfectly, but at least if we set it as the standard, as the goal, as our aspiration, as what we commit to, as what we move towards, it's going to take us on a great road. So, with that said, today, here are the offers. If you want the slides so you can give this some more thought, just email me. Secondly, I've got about 3 or 4 articles that support this that go into a little more detail. I'll send those to you for free as well. And finally, some of you may say, I love all this. I'd sure like to talk to you about this and talk about a situation, or I want some help with this, or I'm really struggling with this. Would you talk to me? Just ask, and I'd be glad to take 30 or 45 minutes and have a great conversation about your situation. Any of that can be tapped into through my email. That's the best way to get in touch with me. Dave Beam at mentordavebeam.com. Just send me a note and ask for one, two, or all 3 things, and we'll make arrangements. So I appreciate you coming this morning. That's 30 minutes. And I think if you take that to heart, it could be transformational. We'll see you next month, and enjoy the website. Get on there and enjoy some of the other programs. We record these, so if you can't make it, you can come back and look at them later. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.